I get those goosebumps every time you come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. 713, 21, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low key. I'm sipping low key and flying. I get those goosebumps every time I'm around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time I need the Heimlich, throw that.
Get in! Wow. Get in!
Get in there!
Nice one.
Get in.
Nice one.
Cheers.
Welcome to Loaded Mag NUFC. Back with another win. Love it. Pete, how are you getting on?
Oh, but as we were just talking about it before we went live, I'm feeling great. Absolutely great. That's really kind of just tipped off my day today. Great day all around. But I'm sure we're going to get into it. But I'm absolutely buzzing right now. I can't lie. Cannot lie. But that's how you felt. How's things?
That saved my day as well. Well, apart from storm and my power getting knocked out for 2 hours, and day 4 of man flu for me. Apart from that, bring on the sympathy. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, all good. Delighted with the win. I said it last week, never in doubt.
Well, yeah, you did. You did say
this week. There's been doubts. There was doubts in this game, but no. We got there in the end eventually. But Chris Shelby is joining us as well. He shall be along pretty soon as well. He's having his tea. He's having his tea. This time last week we already had our tea. We found our way to a pub, and we had found our way to plenty of pubs before that as well. But yes, let's get into it. Let's get into this match and dissect it. Rightio. So this is the Newcastle team. This is the team that took to the pitch. Barnes on the bench, Anderson on the bench, Trips in the stand, and what did you make of the team, Pete?
It was pretty much as we expected it. I think on away days we talked about the possibility of Barnes starting. Would he start? I think I mentioned about the fact that I thought Murphy would start and Barnes would start on the bench. So yeah, other than that, it was kind of as we expected, really. I mean, I think we wanted Anderson to start, and I think we might have had him in the team to start, but there was always that, would he risk him because he's only just coming back from injury. So wasn't surprised to see Willock in there. But looking at the rest of the team, you kind of expect it. The squad, the bench, you kind of expect it. So yeah, no real big surprises for me. Maybe the only surprise was that no one else had got injured in those couple of days between Everton and today. What about you, Des?
Yeah, happy enough for the team. I'm surprised Barnes didn't start, to tell you the truth, and Anderson. But then I knew Eddie always goes with Longstaff, and Willock back in instead of Anderson. So it wasn't too much of a surprise. I was waiting for Barnes to come on right through the game. I knew he would be kind of a turning point maybe when he came on. But then on the Fulham team, Iman Tosin even. He put a good audition. He made some nice runs through our midfield at one stage as well, 1 or 2 stages. But that was the Fulham team that took to the pitch. Also, just shout out to Bruno. 100 appearances for Newcastle. Just listen to a clip there before you start talking to me, Pete. He's been here for 107 games and he's played 100 of those. So well done, Bruno. Spoiler alert: he scores today as well. The nice way to cap his 100th appearance first. Well, let's get into it. I'll stop along the way. There's not much to stop at in the first half, so I'll fly through that. Right, Newcastle a bit sloppy. Danger down our right. Could be seen with Robinson going down their left or right. Fulham with best chances in the first 10 minutes. In fact, in the first half, they had the best of the chances. Kraft got a nearly yellow card as well. And Fulham continued to knock on the door. Dubs went down. There was nothing wrong on that time. He went down. So Eddie could get his team talk in. Give maybe a bit of a bollocking as well, but yeah, got his team talk in, got them a bit more structure. Still, Fulham came at us. Some Newcastle chances. Isak when the touch ran away from Gordon, had a shot wide, and then pretty much again after that, Gordon had another shot wide coming off his left. Sharp made a mistake as well that allowed Muniz get the shot off. Dub saved. 40 minutes. Here comes the injury, the obligatory injury. Willock comes off and Anderson comes on. But all in all, halftime, lucky to still be in the game. Fulham should have probably been out of sight at that stage because they were all over us and we just could not get out. But your thoughts on the first half, Pete?
Yeah, it was a really tough watch, mate. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a really, really tough watch. I thought it reminded me, and I don't know if you thought this because we did. I believe, we did the watch along for this for the FA Cup game at Craven Cottage, and it reminded me very much of the same. We talked about it when we did our kind of watch along. Fulham had all of the possession, created all of the chances at the beginning, and we were just trying to really kind of weather the storm. And that's how it felt for the first sort of 30 odd minutes. And it was kind of like, is this goal going to come? Is it going to come? Because it looked like it was going to, but it didn't. And then all of a sudden, we kick into gear. And from the 31st minute or so, up until half time, we actually looked much better. We created a few chances, but it wasn't pretty. There were some questionable performances in that period of time. Willock being one, obviously he ended up going off with his injury. There was a few others that were really kind of shaking. It was worrying me. But what gave me a little bit of hope, and I'm sure it did a lot of other fans watching it, is that we ended the half quite strong. So it gave me hope that in the second half we could maybe kick into gear. So it was a little bit of both, to be honest. A little bit of worry, a little bit of disappointment and frustration, and then a little bit of hope that we could kick into the second half. But how did you make, or what did you make of the first half, Daz?
Yeah, look, it was backs to the wall really. Willock didn't show up at all. No, he was. I didn't think he was as bad as he was when we saw him against West Ham. But for me, I think he just needs a good preseason now, and just to get himself right for next season. We've plenty of games to go, so hopefully he's back for some of those as well, if not the next game. But it was just sloppy at times. Like there was times Fulham just found their way. And credit to Fulham, they were well on top in that first half. They must be kicking themselves that they did get something in the first half, because it ultimately cost them. But some silly mistakes, and just Kraft looked kind of dodgy as well, and at times. And I was worried then as well that with Kraft on the yellow, that is he going to be caught out here? So. Yeah, just absolutely delighted we got to halftime 0-0, because then we have a chance then of picking it up in the second half, which we did. So that was my thoughts on the first half, Pete. Let's get into the second half because apologies again. 50 minutes, Gordon shot saved, unlucky on the rebound. Longstaff got a yellow. As well, 59 minutes. Fulham had a shot. Pereira, Dubs saved. Dubs put in a good performance today. Kept us in the game. 65 minutes. Barnes on, Murphy off. and Adama Traore come on as well for Fulham, trying to rattle Hall as well. Fair play to Hall as well. Again, he kind of ran out of steam towards the end again, but we'll get to that in a second. 74 minutes now, big talking point here. So this is Shar's goal. So Gordon took the corner, but then put after the corner, he had another cross in. So Shar was unmarked. Shar controlled it really well, put it in the back of the net, unmarked, and he had a clear shot. But VAR, the ref was looking at it. The ref went to the monitor. There was the whole incident with Byrne on Bassey. So he when they both jumped together, Byrne was kind of leaning into him with the arm, but it was kind of, I think that the reason that they didn't give it was because if Byrne hadn't been leaning into him, then Bassey would have been there maybe to put some kind of a block on it for of Sharp. But goal was ruled out. Was it a goal for you, Pete? I'm saying it was a goal, but I can see why as well they may have gone that approach.
I'm not gonna lie, I was frustrated massively because when it went in, I literally like screamed the kitchen down. I was watching it in the kitchen and screamed it down, and startled the kids because they were there just eating away their dinner, and it was me just going mad. Score scores, but I've got to be honest. I think it should have stood, and that's not from a biased point of view. I think it's really harsh on Byrne that they've disallowed this for two reasons. One, neither Byrne or Bassey, considering how tall Byrne is and considering he gets a pretty big leap on the ball, like
he can't even fit in the changing room. He has to warm up outside the changing room. That's not at all for me.
That just shows you how old the stadium is. They've not got a good facilities tall enough for him. But like in all seriousness, Byrne has got up and got a good leap on it, and still not nowhere near the ball. He doesn't get the ball. So neither of them are going to win the ball. So it actually doesn't affect the play. The fact that they both jump for it and it goes over their head, they can't affect the kind of trajectory of the ball and where it's going to land. That in itself. The second thing is that Byrne, in order to get the height, is having to kind of alleviate himself and get himself up, which anybody that's played football will know. If you're trying to get as high as you possibly can to win a header, you have to use your arms. You don't jump with your arms beside you. You don't do it. There was no intentions of pushing or nudging or easing Bassey off the ball. He was just trying to get as much height on his leap as possible. And I think watching it back, and I don't know if you agree with this, Daz, or people in the chat, but just by watching it back, the one thing that I noticed, which I think may have tipped VAR into the decision that they made, is that as he jumps up and he's about to kind of land, you almost see his arm do that. And it kind of like ushers Bassey away. Now, the ball's gone by then, so it doesn't affect Bassey's jump. It doesn't affect Bassey winning the ball, but it's just that motion after he kind of, on his way down, he kind of ushers his arm away like that. And I think they've then assumed that it was a form of a push. And I think that's why. And I think it's really harsh. I think, had it been a different situation, I think maybe, or another referee, I maybe think that it probably wouldn't have been given as a foul. But I was massively frustrated with that. For those two reasons, I think it's a really, really harsh decision. And I think if you ask that same question to any other fan base, they'll probably say something similar, other than Fulham, of course, because it would have meant that they'd have conceded the goal. But that's kind of just my thoughts on it. I don't know. Do you agree with that? Did you see something similar, Daz?
Yeah, you can see the arm going out, and then I just thought it was playing on their mind as well that if Bassey hadn't been taken down by Byrne in that fashion, that he might have been there to put a challenge in on Char. So yeah, it was a mix of both. They just ruled it out. So it could have been more controversial if we hadn't got the win, but let's zoom on forward into what happens next. 81 minutes, Bruno with a goal. Anderson with a lovely back heel. Barnes puts in a cross. The cross was cleared. Bruno applied the finish from the rebound. 1-0 Newcastle. Cue the celebrations from Bruno. The run, the knee slide, and the obligatory yes. Have some of that. So yes, 1-0 Newcastle at that stage. What's your thoughts on Bruno's goal and his 100th appearance, Pete?
Yeah, isn't it typical of the man that, you know, his 100th appearance, he's having a superb run at the moment. He's playing such good football. He really is the talisman of this team at this moment in time. However, what I will say is massive props to Harvey Barnes. Great work down that left-hand side, beats his man down the left-hand side, whips it in, gets cleared, but this is what you want your centre midfielder to do. And this is what we don't see a lot of all the time from our midfielders, just lurking on the edge of the box, waiting for something to fall their way. And it did. And great strike, hits the target, nice and powerful, hits it down, and Leno can't keep hold of it. And I have to say, obviously, we'll talk about the previous goal being chalked out. I was so frustrated because I wasn't sure if we were going to get an opportunity. And the great thing about that is that we got another opportunity not long afterwards. So it didn't give Fulham much time to kind of settle, and we were straight back at them on the counter, on the attack, looking for the goal. And I'll be honest with you, I think I said it to you boys in the chat when the ball, when it went in, I'd finished going mad and celebrating, but then I remembered from Tuesday night, 86 minutes, needed something sloppy, and I just said, I put it into the chat to you boys, I said, NUFC, don't fuck this up. Please don't, because we did the hard part. We got in front late on in the game. It was 81st minute, I think he scored. And you're just thinking, right, can we see this out? Because it's a massive win if we can. But yeah, what were your thoughts, mate? Like, what was your initial reaction when you were watching it and you see the ball hit the back of the net?
Okay, well, while watching it, I hate these 3 p.m. kickoffs that aren't shown on TV. But while watching on, I was so far behind the stream, right? The Shara goal, and I don't want to spoil it either, because what's happened. So the Shara goal was being played out. The scenario wasn't a goal, wasn't not a goal. Then it was ruled out, and then I pick up my phone, and it says Bruno goal. And I was like, oh great! So you're waiting for 5 minutes. It's coming. Where is it? So so I knew it was coming, but I didn't know where it was coming.
Sorry, that's my bad.
No. It wasn't from our chat. It was from Twitter stream. Oh, okay. So no, once it wasn't a goal for Fulham, I didn't really care, because if I'm ever watching a match with Luca, we'll be watching it if it's one on a stream, and I'll be checking my phone. He goes, "Is there a goal?" he knows sometimes there's a goal coming for this goal. So but yeah, absolutely delighted. Great goal. Well taken by Bruno. He's found his shooting boots again, and no yellow card as well. Only one game away now. We played 31, so one game away. If he can keep not get a yellow card against Spurs, then he's out of the woods, and he's going to be back to himself. But he's done really well actually since he's what?
And to add to that, I think because Gordon was 2 cards away, now he doesn't get a ban at all. So that should be it now, because I've not had this confirmed. So like maybe someone can confirm it in the chat, people that are watching, because Gordon got the red card, the 2 yellows against West Ham, and obviously missed Everton. He went back to 8 rather than the 9 for the initial yellow card he got against West Ham. So that should mean he's still on 8, and therefore misses. He doesn't then get the 2-match ban now, because he's only obviously 1 game away. So great news from that point of view. And obviously, we expect Bruno to get through unscathed against Tottenham, right?
Yeah.
He's made it this far. How many games has it been?
It's kind of 8 games or something like that. He's been doing this, carrying this over his head. So, but it hasn't affected him really. You know, he's been unreal the last while. But move on. We're not done yet. Gordon had another good chance at 84 minutes after a nice move, which also involved Bruno. And 94 minutes. This is where I started to worry, because Hall and Gordon come off, and on comes Richie and Dummett. And I'm thinking, I've seen this before. I know what happens next. So I was getting really, really worried then, but wasn't to be. Thank God we got the win. We got the 3 points, and happy days. 1-0 Newcastle. What does this mean, Pete? What does it mean? What does it mean to you?
Before I say what it means to me, a couple of things. We've got 140 plus in the chat, live chat right now. Great to have you with us. Do all that good housekeeping stuff. If you haven't clicked the like button yet, just click that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to us. We're moving quite nicely towards that sort of 10k target. So help us along with that. Secondly, I don't know what your thoughts are with this, because I know what my reaction was when I was, because normally like Newcastle Twitter is pretty good at letting you know like extra time and all the rest of it. And it hit the 90 and there was nothing. So I was watching it, and I know I'm like slightly behind, or albeit through legal means, I have to say, slightly behind watching my stream. So I was watching the game, and it had hit 90 on mine, so I knew it was slightly beyond that. And then it came up with 9 minutes extra time, and I'm thinking, what? How the hell have they got 9 minutes from that game? Yes, I knew there were a couple of injuries, one of which, by the way, Harry Wilson. He was being attended to off the pitch, and they still waited for him before they started the game again. The guy's off the pitch. The game should have carried on. But yeah, I was stunned at the 9 minutes, and then it was a double whammy because I then see Richie and Dummett about to come on, as you mentioned, and I go, please, just
no,
end the game now, end it now, please. But yeah, I did that to say that, because what was your reaction? Were you surprised by it? Because I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned at that.
Yeah, well, I was. My stream was started stopping and starting. Then shout out to the boys in Hong Kong for my stream as well. But yeah, let me see. I was stunned by double coming on the pitch. I was there. Alex Murphy's there. Surely you can let Alex Murphy on for 3 minutes just to see out the game. After a while, I would have taught Dublin a lesson after the last time. I wouldn't let him on again. Personally, but no, I don't know. I suppose with the VAR decision as well, I knew there would have been a few minutes, but yeah, 9 minutes might be a bit over the top. All right, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
And what it means to us, to Newcastle United, means everything. I think a lot of people were concerned about this game on Saturday. You know, even people in the chat for away days, the preview, were saying draws, potentially defeat. There wasn't a lot of confidence going into this game after the Everton game, knowing it was a 3-game week, and everyone was like, the players are tired because we've got a threadbare squad at the moment. So to go there, and let's not forget, and Emilio talked about this on Thursday, Fulham at Craven Cottage are not an easy place. It's not an easy place to go. It wasn't long ago that they put 3 past Spurs and won 3-0. I think it was 3-0, and comfortably beat them. And they've done that to quite a few teams this season. There's not many teams that have gone there and won that. We're one of them, twice. So to go there and do that, clean sheet as well. Let's not forget.
Yeah, Dubs has never. He's never conceded against Fulham. They were saying in the build up to the match as well.
Wow.
Or so.
Interesting. Continue.
That's that.
Well, I say long may it continue. Hopefully, it doesn't continue next season, because then we'll have Pope
yeah.
back. But going back to the point, massive win. We needed that with the Everton game dropping points. We had to get 3 points there if we were serious about a European push. And I'm sure we'll get the table up. I'm sure we'll have a look at those things.
It's ready.
In a second. But honestly, mate, I want to get your thoughts on this as well, because I was just like, I was relieved and I was absolutely buzzing, like I said at the beginning of the show, because going to places like that and getting the 3 points can be the difference. We can look back at this maybe in June, in July, when we're doing the transfer shows, and maybe this could be the difference between a player coming in or not. Let's get ready for that. But yeah, look, what does it mean to you, Daz?
It means to me the dream is still alive. We still have something to fight for. We're still because my dream is to finish ahead of Man United. If we can't get Champions League, I just want to finish ahead of Man United. So all going to that game. I want to be going into that game thinking this is the pivotal point in our season. It's kind of like, it'll be like our cup final. That's what I'm thinking. I want us to be in that position because we don't even know when that game is scheduled for yet. It will be sometime in May. But yeah, that's where I want to be. But as we welcome in Chris, I'd just like to say, how'd you like that? Honest.
Oh, sorry.
Say that again.
I said sorry, I'm late.
Oh,
can you hear me?
No hassle.
Can hear you now? I couldn't be here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool,
sorry.
Cool. Well, we're just going to go to that. We'll get your thoughts on the match as well, Chris. But we've just ran through it there. But I just want to bring up the winners photo. Yes, I love these. They're back again. All the lads. Nice V-shaped. That's very coordinated there. That photo. But no, great to have that back again. Dubs giving it loads as well there on the wing. But Chris, let's get your thoughts on the game. You're free reign. Pick any bit you want.
Free reign, right, okay. So yeah, the first 35 minutes were pretty worrying, if I'm honest. Like I was really surprised how, I think Pete summed it up at half time really well. He was like, that was utter shite. The first half was not great, particularly the 35 minutes. There was one fantastic through ball. I think it was from Bruno. And Isaac just didn't quite get his touch right, but the ball from Bruno was unbelievable. Yeah. If he brought it down, if Isaac had brought it down right, he'd have buried it. Because, I'm trying to think what else. First half, there wasn't much to talk about first half, got to be honest. Second half, things did improve. Still didn't think we played very well. Didn't think we played very well at all, but we keep going back to it, don't we, boys? But, we're 11, 12 players down. So this is to be expected. And to kind of go to Craven Cottage and grind out that result was, absolutely fantastic. Bruno doing as usual, running the midfield. Fantastic strike as well. I know some people may say it was a bit of a scuff, but I'm all over that. I thought he buried it. And obviously his celebrations at the end were absolutely fantastic. I think I said to you boys, didn't I? Going forward, I think Lewis Hall looks really, really promising. I do have question marks in defence, got to be honest. Defensively, I am a little bit worried by Lewis Hall, but I suppose that will come with time. We know that he's not a natural left back as such. I think he started his career as central midfield, which everyone keeps talking about. But he does look far more comfortable going forward than he is in defence. I'm trying to think what else to add. I mean, Elliot Anderson, when he came on, I thought, and again, sorry to sound really negative here, but I think I said to you boys when Joe Willock went off that I find it a questionable decision to start with Joe Willock, given the performance that he put in. And then you saw Elliot Anderson come on, and I thought Elliot Anderson did absolutely fantastically. Really drives us up the pitch, which is what Joe Willock normally does. But yeah, ultimately, we've grinded out a 1-0 win, not playing all that well. Isaac had a chance near the end as well, didn't he, when he went on through one-on-one with the keeper, but the keeper made a reasonably good save, I think. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased with the 3 points, and it's a huge mountain for us, particularly as, correct me if I'm wrong, I think West Ham hung on for the win, didn't they? So for us to win, it's a huge 3 points for us. I'll be honest, boys, going into this game, I think I did actually say 1-0 on the prediction show, but I did have my doubts that we would be able to get the 3 points for this game. And this for me now makes up for that Everton result, because I think if you'd have said to everybody before the West Ham game, you're going to get 7 points out the next 9, I think we'd have took that. I think we would have took that,
Yeah.
because seven points is a decent return. Probably wouldn't have expected it to come like this. I thought the Everton game was an absolute certainty. And it just so happens that's the one we only got the point from. But no, fantastic 3 points. Daz, I don't know if you've already brought it up, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Have you got the league table there?
That's what we're going to just right now.
You're going to? Oh, brilliant.
You came at the right time, Chris. So let's go to that. Here we go. Boom. So let's start at the top and work down. Now, Arsenal got their victory, so they're still in the hunt there. Interesting what will happen tomorrow now with Man United against Liverpool. How that'll play out. So all eyes on that tomorrow. City got their win. Villa got a draw against Brentford. Spurs probably play tomorrow, probably. I can't remember when.
Yes,
but
6 o'clock does. 6 o'clock they play. Weirdly, there's a 5:30 kickoff and then a 6 o'clock
yes,
kickoff.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We know West Ham got their win, and I know, Pete, you alerted us to a goal that was disallowed in that game as well.
That would have been a perfect top off to this round of fixtures today, had they have dropped points, because obviously, as you can tell by the table, that would have put us into 7th place, nicely in 7th place, and on the tails of Man United, which we still are, like, regardless. I expect Man United to drop points tomorrow. I don't expect them to win. So yeah, they might go to 49, which puts us, a couple of points in reach, or they might lose, which means it's open. It's massively open.
We're in control there because we have to play them. So sorry, Chris. Go on.
Yeah, sorry, Daz. No, I was going to say, just to jump in, maybe this is an easier question for you than it is for me. But I was just thinking about that Man United Liverpool game tomorrow. Like, what's the ideal scenario for yourselves? I mean, are you looking from a Newcastle perspective and hoping for the Liverpool win? Are you wanting to see Liverpool lift the title, and you just want you don't want Man U to pick up any points, or you want a draw? Like, what are you thinking for that game tomorrow?
Well, I don't want either side to win, and but look, I have to play it from a Newcastle point of view, because it's all about, for me, it's all about us finishing ahead of Man United. So yeah, I want Liverpool to win in that fashion. I don't want Liverpool to win the league, but where is it on? Is it on Old Trafford or Anfield?
Old Trafford.
Should be interesting.
They beat them in the FA Cup as well, Man United, albeit a last-minute goal. But if you're asking me, ideally, can both lose, please? Can they both just not turn up and get 3 points taken off? Like that'd be ideal, dream scenario. But obviously, on a real level, for me, I'll take a Liverpool win. I still think Liverpool will drop points between now and the end of the season. We had a look at the fixtures, didn't we, after away days? I think we looked at some of their fixtures, and they've got some tough fixtures still to play, Liverpool will have. So I'll take them winning at Old Trafford, meaning that Man United stay where they are. We'll be on the same amount of games. We've got a better goal difference than Man United, only a point behind them. So it throws it all out. Like whereas this time last week, we were probably having a conversation about 6th is probably not within reach. And a few people in the chat, when we had that conversation, it might have been after the Everton game, actually, we're saying, Man United not in reach, we're not going to catch them, blah, blah, blah. Point behind them if they lose on Sunday. Right up for the mix. And the one thing that I'll say, boys, is that you want as many European spots up for grabs as possible. So if sixth is a possibility, whether we get it or not, we want it to be open. If there's 3 European spots, that gives us a great chance of potentially nicking one of them. And at this point, with the season that we've had, I don't care which one we get. Obviously, I'd like to finish 6th, but I just want to be playing European football personally.
Yeah, Chelsea have to play as well this weekend as well. So they are also in the mix. So it's kind of, with Brighton defeat today against Arsenal, you can kind of, no, I'm not ruling Brighton out or Wolves out or anything like that. But is there a bit of a gap opening up yet? Maybe too early to say that yet. But
Chelsea,
I don't know who they have.
I was just what I was checking, Pete. Chelsea have got Sheffield United away.
Here, yes. Tomorrow, 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you expect them to win.
Yeah, they should. They should. But this is Chelsea. This is Chelsea all over, isn't it? I mean, I know they came back the other night against Man United, but it just wouldn't surprise me if Sheffield United went and got a point or something. It really wouldn't, because the way Chelsea are, they're so up and down.
Yeah,
I take it.
Sheffield United. Luton had got a nice win.
They did.
Keeping them in the mix. So did Everton.
Yeah.
Hopefully that 4 points. Hopefully that 4 points gets ripped away. I did say, Lisa and Callum, beware. Yeah, I think they were talking about it. It could be next week. They could find out.
Is that the rumours, Pete? I mean, funnily enough, I did hear some rumours today saying that there was going to be another points deduction. I don't know. Obviously, everyone's kind of in the dark over it, aren't they? But is that what you've heard, that it's going to be
Sky
again?
It was Sky that was saying it at the end of all the fixtures today. They were saying that sort of about they'll be hearing on Monday or something like that on what's happening with that. So, potentially, if they were to get another 4 to 6 points ripped away, that puts them in the bottom 3. So, or it puts them joint sort of with Luton and Forest. So it then kicks it back into gear again. If they get 4 points, for example. So, yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Let's take away the league table. That's where we are in terms of that. So still with all to play for. So the season is not over yet. 7 games to go. We look at some questions, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Loads of questions. Just some comments in there. A concussion check to see if Fulham got the 6th sub. I think that was when I talked about the Harry Wilson thing. About the extra time, like why were they waiting when he was off the pitch? But if that's the case, David, fair play. Obviously, that could have benefited them, as it could have if it was the same with us, for sure. Some great questions and comments and various different things that have been put in there. I'll just work down. Some of them are comments, some of them are questions. I'll just work down some that have been starred. Got to try Harvey Barnes and Gordon from the start against Spurs. Murphy was poor today. Was that your assessment, boys, on what Chris Dawson said?
I thought Murphy wasn't great. I did say to you boys at halftime, I thought that he was going to put Murphy in where Kraft was, because Kraft was on the yellow, and move Gordon across and bring on Barnes that way. But Murphy wasn't great today now. All right, so yeah, I'd agree with I would definitely like to see that set up against Spurs. Go for it. Why not? Got nothing to lose.
Yeah, you the same, Chris?
Yeah, I did think Murphy was poor today. Harvey Barnes again. He's kind of proven me wrong a little bit, Harvey Barnes, because every time he's coming on, he's making an impact. He looked fresh. He looked ready. He looked hungry. And unfortunately, he did outshine Jacob Murphy, because his performance wasn't great. I still wouldn't write Jacob Murphy off, but his performance fell a little bit into the Willett category for me, in that I was underwhelmed. I wouldn't say Jacob Murphy was as bad as Willett, because I wouldn't go that far. But he underperformed today, Jacob Murphy, and I think he'll probably be disappointed actually with his performance, because this is a great opportunity for him and other players who are kind of on the fringe of the squad to kind of cement their place in the team. But I don't think he did that today.
It's the classic Jacob Murphy will play well for a game or two and then go missing. I don't know if you noticed it, and I'm really glad that Jordan noticed it as well, because he tweeted out during the game that there was a point in the first half where I think Longstaff, Shaw, Byrne, and I think one other, they were going absolutely mad at Jacob Murphy because he just wasn't switched on. He wasn't concentrating. He was letting them get in time and time again down our right-hand side. And he just was drifting. He wasn't picking up men. He wasn't getting back in. He wasn't covering. And they were literally saying, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And that happened 3 or 4 times to different players over the course of the first half. I think Shaw said it to Lewis Hall and I think it was Joe Willock at one point. Like, what? Sort it out. What are you doing? It wasn't great. But look, obviously we got the win. News on Willock. Apparently it's the Achilles injury is come back again. Eddie Howard said that he's obviously playing with it. It's not 100%, and it's not that it's fully gone again, but it was enough to make him come off. So I wouldn't expect him to be back anytime soon. But if it's going to be like that, then what's the point of continuing risking him if you're not going to get a fully fit? Joe Willock, sorry, not Jacob Murphy. I finished up, but Jimmy Watt has mentioned, should Eddie be up for manager of the season? Obviously, the winner of the Premier League will get it, but with all the injuries and still getting top 6, should be up for it. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think so.
The stick that he's got this season.
Yeah. No. Last season, yes, but no. All the injuries, everything, blah blah blah. But no, you can't put him in that mix for manager of the year. Who did I say though should be in the mix? I don't remember saying someone the other day. It'll come back to me. Who I thought, but no, I wouldn't put him in the mix, Jimmy. Next season, maybe, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. There is he in your list, Chris? Manager of the season?
No.
If he gets sick.
I know. Well, I was smiling to myself because Jimmy's put, with all the injuries and still getting top 6. I mean, Jimmy, we're not there yet. Hopefully we do get top 6. I really do hope we do. It's funny, Keith Oliver's just put Ange at Spurs. I think for me, do you know what? It's a funny one though, because even though he says Ange at Spurs, weirdly Keith Ole's put in Emery as well. Not weirdly, but weirdly he's not in my reckoning either. Emery, I think I'd put Ange in over Emery, but with Ange, he hasn't had any distractions this season, has he? Obviously, Tottenham didn't have any European football, and I think that's been a massive help to them. But Ange has done fantastically well in his first season, and he proved me wrong because I wrote Tottenham off at the start of the season. I thought Tottenham were going to be really poor, but they made some really good signings, and Ange Postecoglou, despite losing Harry Kane, has really rallied the troops, so to speak. And I think Tottenham have had a good season. But ultimately, I agree with you boys. I think whoever wins the title will get it. Obviously, if Liverpool win it, Klopp's definitely going to get it. If Pep wins it and gets his 4th consecutive Premier League title, he'll probably get it. And then obviously, if Arteta gets his first Premier League trophy in 20 years, I think he'll be lined up to get it. So it's one of those 3 will get it, I think, ultimately. But no, I wouldn't have Eddie Howe in the running for manager of the season personally. And if he didn't get it last season, there's no way he's going to get it this season.
Yeah, Ange is a good shout, mate. But I remember who I said now, and it was on our European show. I said if Wolves were to get to Europe, Gary O'Neill should be in the mix I think they're going to fall away now.
He's done a great job, to be fair.
100%. I think he's done great. Regardless of where they finish, they could still comfortably finish in the top half. So fair play to them.
Do you think, by the way, sorry, Pete, I was going to say, do you think if Luton stay up, is Rob Edwards in the running? Surely he should be.
100%. 100%. If Luton stay up, Everton go down, give it him for the next 2 years. Yeah, give it him. Give him what he wants. Give him the Man United job. Hey, he deserves it. He deserves it.
Hey, no, Southgate's getting that. Hands off. Southgate's getting that. I want Southgate in the Man United to mess them up fully. Himself and Dan Ashbridge could do a great job together there.
That would be joyous. I'm not going to lie. Still a Newcastle related question, but a slightly off topic. Anyone else hate that your weekend mood can depend on how the team do on a Saturday?
Always.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like the wife always comes in and goes, Did they win? And I'm like, yes. And she goes, yes. She doesn't even like football. She knows if we won, I'm going to be in a good mood.
I get the same, Pete. Oh, you'll be in a good mood. So that's what the answer I get back to that question. if they win.
Lisa works on a Saturday, and like today, exactly the same. She comes in, and before her eyes even hit the telly, she goes, "What's the score?" She always asks me the score because she knows if we're winning, I'm in a good mood and everything will be sound. If we're not winning, or if we're drawing, she leaves me alone. If we're losing, she doesn't even speak to me because she knows that like I'm going to be in a bad mood. But yeah, it's 9 NUFCs hit the nail on the head there. Like it is weird, isn't it? Because you just feel a bit more buoyant and a bit more happy, and then you've got your 3 points in the bag, and then you're just looking at all the other clubs and just thinking, like, come on, mess up.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? But that's the way life is.
Yeah.
It is the way it is. Jordan Boy put same team that finished needs to start versus Spurs. Sadly, Murphy will be the only decent sub to bring on. Be very happy with the draw. Obviously, we're looking ahead to Spurs, but we talked about obviously Barnes, Gordon starting together. Elliot Anderson, who I thought was excellent again today when he came on. You know, would you be bang up for that? It looks like it's going to be taken out of our hands, to be fair, with Elliot Anderson because with Willock now not being available. But do you think it's time now, regardless, Elliot Anderson to start, Harvey Barnes to start alongside Gordon? Is that the way?
Yeah, I'd go that way for sure. The only thing is, as Jordy Boy has said, is that we've no one then off the bench try and make a difference, unless someone surprisingly comes back for us. But I don't know. Will anyone be fit enough to make the bench even? Yeah, I think, and I'd take the draw. If you offer me the draw now, I'd snatch your hands off and take the draw.
It would be a valuable point, keep us in the right direction. And then we were talking off air before we started, Daz, that if we get a point against Spurs next weekend, we then have a run of 3 games: Palace away, Sheffield United at home, Burnley away. Like they're three great games to build on and get points on the board. So a point wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, that's for sure. So great question there from Geordie Boy. I'll go to the next one. This got a lot of kind of traction really on socials when the pictures came out of the players arriving. And David Cook puts, anyone make sense of Diallo on the bench when he was announced he's being released? Does anyone agree with that? Like, I think there's been a couple of players that are going to be released and have already kind of been announced through the journalists. I think Craig Hope's touched on it, Chronicle. I think Jordan and Newcastle World Boys have touched on it as well. A few players that are going to be released, but some of those players have been on the bench recently with all our injury problems. Do you agree with that they're getting potential first team opportunity when they already know that they've not got a future at the club?
For me, it is a very weird situation to have. I would just put them in the shop window, I suppose. But it is a bit crazy to let them know that they're going, but still being that down to the bare bones that we have to still use them for our bench. It'd be even more ridiculous if we see them coming on. But yeah, let's hope we're never in that situation again.
Chris, I'll add this on to you for this one, because I just thought about this now, is that, you've got some of these players like Diallo, I think Maduidi as well, who's going to be released. He's been on the bench for us a few times, actually come off the bench. I think it might have been against Chelsea when we won at St. James's Park. But then you've got the likes of Sansui, the young lad, 16, 17 years old. You've got Alfie Harrison, for example. These are new players coming in. Would you not rather give them an opportunity knowing that they've got a future at the club, rather than giving these guys a first team opportunity knowing that, in 6 months' time, they're not even going to be at the club? Like,
do you know what? It's a really good point. And funnily enough, I didn't really pick up. I saw the lineup and I saw the name, but I just kind of read it, because we're so used to seeing random names on the bench these days. Yeah. But I do remember at the end of the game seeing Diallo clapping the fans with the other players. And he looked a little bit dejected. He looked a bit fed up, and I was thinking to myself, oh, he's not very happy. But then David makes a good point, about the fact that he is getting released. So maybe that's why, because maybe, he's kind of having a carrot dangled in front of him that he's never going to have. But it kind of goes back to the conversation we were having about Mark Gillespie, wasn't it, in squad games? And I totally get your boys' point of view in terms of that. You know, should there be an opportunity given to these younger players who maybe do have a pathway into the first team, Alfie Harrison being a prime example, Sanusi, hopefully he does too. I think it would be better served if they were given the spot on the bench. Let's be honest, Eddie Howe has probably got no intention of bringing Diallo on, or maybe those other lads that we've just mentioned. But to have them in and amongst the squads and get that experience and, you know, see how it works and, you know. So, yeah, I agree with you, Pete. It's odd putting in a player who has been announced that is going to be leaving. Maybe it's a little tip of the cap. Maybe it's, you know, kind of thanks for your service kind of thing, knowing full well, as I say, that he's not going to come on. Would I do it personally? Probably not if I was manager, but maybe there are reasons behind it. I don't know. But for me, I wouldn't do it because I just it kind of feels a bit cruel to me because he's sitting on a bench, which is great. He's being named in a Premier League 18 or 20, whatever the numbers are now. And he's not going to get on the pitch, and he knows that he hasn't got a future at Newcastle United. So it seems a bit cruel to me, but maybe there are reasons behind the scenes that we don't know about.
The clan makes a good point as well. To be honest, the same question could be asked: is why Gillespie's on the bench? Give a youngster a spot.
That's what you boys said, isn't it? Yeah. And I get it. I do get it.
It's part of the transition. There's no look. We love Gillespie. He's in the away end and all the rest of it. He's Jordan lad. I get it. Like he's done his stint of service at the club, and I'm sure he's one of the happiest players out there. Playing professional football, getting paid what I think he's paid between sort of 10, 12 grand a week to not play any football, just train with these top lads, and potentially pick up a trophy or a medal, not having to play a minute. Like for your boyhood club, it's a dream. But we have to look future. Give a young player an opportunity. And you boys have said it. You've got young lads there that are hungry, chomping at the bit. You look at Elliot Anderson today. He was hungry. He wanted it. He chased everything down. He was giving it the cause. He added a bit of bite to that midfield. You know, we talk about Joe Linton and how he has that bite about him. He gets around. He recoveries of the ball, wins things, gets stuck in. That's what you see in Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson's doing that right now, but he's chomping at the bit because he's hungry for his opportunity. And you think Alfie Harrison and Sansui be amazing? Probably
is that.
He'll be buzzing. He'll be buzzing. But there's no long-term planning there for Newcastle United. If Diallo's on the bench, knowing that he's moving on, it's great for him. Great exposure for him. Great to get him at the club. But fuck off.
That's a shout out. And he's put a little laughing emoji after it.
He knew what he was doing there.
You've done me, Mike. You've done
nice one, Mike.
Jesus Christ! Look, I'm gonna. Let's move on. Let's move on. Before
that's it. The weekend's ruined now. The weekend is ruined.
Before we get some Diallos on 80 grand a week or something, let's move on. Actually, for the Northeast, great stuff to see Gateshead into another final. They beat Macclesfield in the semis 2-1, I believe, today. So great to see. Could be a good place for Diallo to go to, potentially. Yeah. We do have a kind of a field there where some players get released and end up at Gateshead, and they're having a good season. So fair play on that one. Good number of questions, some great questions. Interesting. Would I eat there says, would everyone have turned on Dan Burn as they did Dummett if we hadn't won? So that's in isolation today. And I'm assuming, you're referring to the fact that there was the goal that was ruled out.
Yeah.
What do you think, boys? It's an interesting question.
No. The goal that was ruled out. No, it was, as you said, Pete, when he was jumping, you'd have to lift your arms. You couldn't. There's no way you could blame Dan Burn for the goal being disallowed because of that. No, and the Dummett situation was different. And I know someone else has asked the question as well. What are our thoughts when it was Toon Gamer? I already said it, but I will go through that again in a second. But no, you can't. You could never blame big Dan Burn. He's not like he wrestled someone to the penalty in the penalty box in the last 9 minutes. And even if he did do that, he still played 90 minutes before that and put in a good performance. So no would I either.
You the same, Chris?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm glad this question got brought up actually, because I didn't mention that, and I'd be interested to hear your boys' thoughts on it as well. Like, I don't know what commentary you were listening to, but the commentary I was listening to, I thought the fellow who was doing the commentary, I thought was quite fair and balanced. But he was saying that because at first when I saw VAR, I was thinking, nah, it's not a foul. No way is that a foul. But the fellow on commentary said he reckons that the reason that VAR ruled it out is because of the fact that Bassey was put on the deck, and then if he wasn't on the floor, he would have been stood up and maybe he would have blocked the goal. And I was a bit like, I kind of got where he was coming from. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a foul, like for me, because you've got to use your arms when you're jumping. You've got to use your arms, and everybody, does that, don't they? And he didn't like proper shove him and two-hand him in the back. It was just kind of like, a balance thing, and then Bassey falls to the floor. But I did find that quite interesting when they said that they kept watching it back, and Bassey was on the floor, and as he was standing up, the ball fizzed past him. And I thought, well, if he wasn't on the floor, then maybe he'd have been stood up and maybe he'd have put a leg out to block it. I don't know. But I thought that was an interesting one. But to answer the question, no, I agree with Daz. I completely agree with Daz. Unfortunately, Dummett's was an isolated incident. And that was just a moment of stupidity. So for me, I wouldn't have blamed Dan Burn for that whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, as you rightly said earlier, Pete, you've got to use your arms, to kind of elevate yourself. And he just naturally pushes his arm out, and then the player kind of takes advantage of the fact that he can feel Dan Burn's hand on him and he falls to the floor. But no, I wouldn't have blamed him, would I? Yeah, I wouldn't have blamed him.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
No, we said the same thing, Chris. We said the same kind of thing in our analysis, and yeah, I was listening to the same commentary. So yeah, like if Byrne hadn't knocked Shirley over, he might have got up.
Yeah. It was funny though. The commentator was fuming, wasn't he? He was like, "It's a goal. It's a goal. Shouldn't have ruled it out. It's a goal." I was thinking, bloody hell. You'd think he was like a Newcastle fan. He was absolutely raging over it.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Dan Burn was brilliant again today. 2 games in a row.
He was. He was.
Fair play. Long may it continue. Dan Burn at centre back. I wasn't for it at all. My thoughts after seeing him against Liverpool and the rest of it earlier on in the season. Brighton away, for example, horrific when Botman was injured. But he's come in and done a job, and he actually looked a lot more solid than Fabian Schär was. Fabian Schär did not look comfortable at all today. And fair play to Dan Burn. He's put in 2 really, really good performances, and you could argue he was good when he came into that position when Lascelles went off against West Ham. So that's potentially 3 games in a row there. So fair, yeah, he is from Blythe. Fair play to him. He's doing.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Pete doesn't think we need to buy 2 centre backs this summer now.
No.
I was like,
no. Hey, I'm quite happy for Dan Burn to still be at the club next season, 4th choice centre back. Why not? But we need 2 centre backs coming in, and it's not in the star questions, but let's have a conversation on it now. You touched on it earlier, Daz. We were on Tosin Adarabioyo watch against Fulham this afternoon. I was certainly watching him closely. I know you boys were. Daz, you touched on it briefly as well. Look, Daz, I'll come to you, Chris, next. What are your thoughts? What was your assessment of his performance?
My battery. Why is my battery? Anyway, carry on for a minute. I'll fix that. I thought he played really well. I mentioned in the kind of commentary on it. Yeah, the way he brought the ball out, not once and 2 occasions, right up at the pitch. He did well. He put himself in the shop window. All eyes on him, as well as Lloyd Kelly. There'd be 2 nice signings to bulk out the squad, and they can play a few games for it as well. So yeah, I'd consider him. I definitely think we should be getting one of them, if not the 2, and build on that then as well.
What were your assessments, Chris?
I'll be honest. I like you boys. I was on Totem Watch, and he likes to ping the ball, doesn't he? I noticed he was doing the crossfield passes. A couple of them didn't come off, but he certainly got an eye for the pass. And for me, Pete, I've got to be honest. Like when we spoke to Emilio through the week, and I asked him the question, I said, "How much would he be if he had 4 or 5 years on his contract?" And as soon as he said 30 million, that was me sold. That was me sold, because I thought, if you're getting a player of his quality and his age for free, who's got Premier League experience, tall lad, comfortable on the ball, can come out with the ball, which we saw today, comfortable with the ball at his feet, can ping a pass. For me, he's a comfortable, and this isn't me being harsh, he's a comfortable upgrade on Lascelles. And if you can get him on a free transfer, mate, it's a no-brainer for me. And if we were to get Tosin Adarabioyo and Lloyd Kelly on free transfers, I think that's 2 really good pieces of business. Certainly, as part of that, I'm going to use my favourite word, as part of that underbelly, I think, and it means that you can then put, if we got those 2 in, if we got Lloyd Kelly in and Tosin Adarabioyo in, there's your right centre back and your left centre back sorted in terms of under Shah and Botman. And then if you wanted to, you could then go out and spend, 30, 40, 50 million on a top right centre back. And then that would leave you with Kelly, Adarabioyo, Lascelles, Botman, Shah, and the new right centre back. And then you're covered. You're done. Not to mention, you've then got Dan Burn, who can also play centre back, as we've seen. But Lloyd Kelly provides a little bit of cover as well on the left back position. So for me, I'd get both in. I was impressed with Tosin. I thought he looked decent.
Definitely. Mike asked the question on here. Question for everyone: if you could someone play from Fulham, he would take Tosin. We're already talking about Tosin. He would be the player I'd go for, even ahead of the likes of Palhinha, who I didn't think was great today. He hasn't had a good game against us at all. Like
he's not got the legs, Pete. I think he falls a little bit into the Ruben Neves category. Technically brilliant, but I just question whether he's got the legs.
Yeah, I just think with Tosin Adarabioyo, I think he's perfect for Newcastle. I'm not saying he's going to come in and be an ultimate absolute starter. We could go in and get a top level centre back and have Tosin Adarabioyo come in alongside him as your free transfer option, and then you've got those 2. You've got Shaw and you've got Burn going into the new season, with Lascelles and Botman likely to come back in around November, December, January time. Perfect situation. Lascelles will then move on in the summer. You've got Botman to come back in there. Shaw will be 33, nearly 34. You've then got your transition. It just makes sense. Adarabioyo adds much needed pace, much needed height and aerial ability. But as you boys have talked about, Chris, you mentioned it as well. I love the way he's so comfortable in coming out with the ball. We need more players that are comfortable on the ball. He came out 2 or 3, 4 times with the ball and travelled long distances with the ball at his feet and was willing to kind of weave in and out players to start attacks. You mentioned his crossfield balls. They don't always come off, but you got to remember, with all due respect to Fulham, he's playing in the Fulham side. He's not playing in the Newcastle side with some of the players that we've got and the style of football we have. I actually think he's perfectly suited to us. And let's not forget, if all this stuff is being bandied about, free transfers, because of profit and sustainability, all the rest of it, it just makes sense for all the reasons that you've said. Age, free transfer, all Premier League experience, all of these things. It's a no-brainer. Adarabioyo, Lloyd Kelly, get them in for free. Perfect. We've seen Villa do the same recently in the last few years. Get free transfer players in, not pay a penny for them, and actually they help elevate the team. It's perfect. We need to be prioritising these signings 100%. I was I was impressed with him. He's better than I thought the last time I watched him. And although he was on a losing side, I actually thought he'd play well. Bassi was decent too.
Yeah, he was actually.
He's a good player.
Tosin, just to add as well, Pete, Tosin Adarabioyo is 26 and Lloyd Kelly's 25.
Great age.
Yeah.
Both.
That'll do.
New member.
For 9 months, for 5 months.
5 months.
Nice one.
Yeah, smash and grab in London it was, and we'll take that all day long. But thank you for becoming a loaded ultra for another 5 months. What a 5 months it's going to be. Perfect time to become a member. The draws will be coming thick and fast. The prize draws, as well as that, we're going to be finishing the season.
A June one.
And and as well as that, we come into the transfer season, and you always know it's going to be busy. So if you want to become a loaded ultra member, now's the time. Get it done. And we'll remind you all how to do that in just a second. There's a few of the really good questions here. I'm going to come to our favorite. He's a great guy. Our 00 Stato has been in the house. Hope you're well. Great question here. Evening, lads. How many points do you think Newcastle United will get from their remaining games? Spurs at home, Palace away, Sheffield United at home, Burnley away, Brighton at home, Brentford away, and that game that's not been confirmed yet, but will need to be played at some point, Man United away. What points are we going for, boys?
Right, so we're now on. Let me just check here again.
People in the chat get involved in this too. How many points are we getting from those?
47 points. 47 points at the moment.
Oh, can I just add something to that, lads?
Yeah.
Just really.
Where'd he go?
You wanted to add something and he's left.
Wow, he's like a magician.
Yeah, he must be going to
just like that. He's back.
He's back.
I kicked myself out like an idiot. What am I doing? I clicked the button out. I saw it earlier. Where is it? I still got it. Here it is. Just to add to that, I knew we'd get him at some point. He's revised his points total. Do you remember when he said we'd only get 45 to 47 points by the end of the season? Now you've revised it, Alan, and you've gone for 54 to 55. I still think that's too low, personally, but I'm glad you revised it. So Alan seems to think we're going to get a few more points on the board. We're at 47 at the moment. Okay. Now back to this question. What we're getting from our final 7 boys.
So can we agree each of the games? So Spurs, I'll take a point.
Yeah, I'll take a point from that.
Okay.
What about you?
You might hate me for this. I don't know whether we beat them, you know.
Why would we hate you for saying we're going to?
No, I just mean because I'm
You're getting a promotion, Chris. For that.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to get everyone excited, but I don't know. I just feel. But I think we'll raise our game because it's Spurs. I can just see Eddie now doing the team talk in the dressing room and saying, like, these are in our place. This is where we should be. We should be where they are because we should. And if we never had the injuries, we would be where they are, if not higher. I don't know. But tell you what, let's stick to draw for now. But I do think we can win the next game. Really do.
Okay. Right. I'm happy with that. Palace away.
There's a big gap between the next game. Then there's about 10 days or something. It seems to be a big gap.
Was it international?
Not international, but it was. We were meant to have Tottenham, and then the following weekend we were meant to have Man United, but they're in the FA Cup semi-final. Our game. So after the weekend after the Tottenham game, we don't have a game, and then I think Palace is on the midweek after that.
Okay.
I say we beat Palace. It's all about who the walking wounded are then, but I think we can beat Palace.
Could our players back? That means two and a half weeks away. I'm going win. I think we win.
I'm going to win as well.
Chris, I think draw for this one.
Well, it evens out anyway. So that's 4 points.
It evens out.
I'm fine. We'll leave that there.
Yeah.
All day, every day. 3 points.
Yeah,
has to be
all day.
Burnley away.
Up to 10.
It's got to be a win, surely. We have to win this game.
Yeah, I know they'll be fighting, but still.
Most teams have gone there and got the points. We have to get the points there, and we've got a decent record there recently. last few years
Yeah,
that they've been in the
yeah,
league.
we have. Just thinking.
Brighton.
So was Burnley. Burnley must be. Is there a bit of a gap to Burnley? I mean, the Burnley game, boys. The Burnley game is scheduled to be
Beginning of May.
4th of May. Will we have any players back by then as well?
Miggy, Tino, should be Trippier, potentially Callum Wilson, potentially Pope. Pope's meant to be the end of April.
I'm convinced
That's 5 big players back, and they've not given a date
Joe
for
Linton
either.
Yeah. He'll be massive when he comes back. You know, he will be so big for us when he comes back.
He'll be chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
He'll want to finish the season strong, and especially if we've got something to fight for, which we expect us to be in a position to. He'll be wanting to secure European football for sure.
So we're saying 3 points for Burnley.
Oh yeah. For me,
okay.
Go past that.
That is already gone. He's looking ahead to Brighton already.
Brighton. I'm worried about Brighton. I asked. Brighton are always a team that we struggle with. Ferguson doesn't score. Ferguson doesn't score all season. Only he turns up to play against us.
I'm not worried about Brighton.
No, I'm not.
I think we'll beat them. We've beaten them the last few years. At the Amex, we've got an issue. We can't seem to get a win there. But when we play them at St. James's Park, it always seems to be a different story.
Right, I'm shut down. We're gone on 13 points. So
I think it's the St. James's thing. That's probably where the confidence with Spurs is coming in. I feel like at St. James's, we've got a bloody good chance. I saw a stat the other day, actually, didn't it say it was a weird stat about home. I can't even believe we were even near the top of it or top of the league when it came to home. J7 is massive now, I know you guys. It was this weird stat. Did you boys see it? There was a stat about Newcastle at St. James's Park, and it was like an unbelievable stat, and we were like near the top of the league. Was it unbeaten? Was it unbeaten at St. James's Park for so long? I'm sure it was. But anyway, yeah, at St. James's Park, I'm not.
In this season?
I'm not. Yeah. I seen it, and I was like, how are we near the top of that league? I'm sure it was a stat to do with us playing at home. Definitely. If anyone knows it.
What's injuries at home?
No, it wasn't injuries. No, it wasn't injuries. I forget what it was. Anyone knows it, put it in the chat for us. But no, yeah, I'm confident we beat Brighton at home.
We did have a great record at St. James's Park. We lost, obviously. We lost to Liverpool at the beginning of the season.
Clean sheets. I think it was clean sheets. John W. just put it in the chat. Clean sheets. And we're like near the top at home for clean sheets. It's something ridiculous.
Wow. Fair play.
Check the previous scores. Anyway,
on to Brentford. Away, Tony, revenge mission. I'm going to win as well.
Last game at his club before he moves on.
Yes. And that Brighton game actually is our last home game of the season as well. So we have to go fighting in that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you in the win. So Brighton away. I'm saying win.
Brentford away.
Yeah.
Brentford away.
I'm probably going to go a little bit more safe with this one. I'm probably going to go a point. I do think we can win there, but I'm probably just going to go safe with a point because I think if we're ahead of the likes of West Ham and Brighton going into that last game of the season, which I expect us to be by at least anywhere between 1 or 3 points, West Ham go to Man City last game of the season. And
league could be done by then.
Yeah, I can't remember who Brighton have got that. I'm not sure if they've got a tricky game as well. So that's why I'm going more safe in terms of that. I'm probably going to say a point. But yeah, we've won the last 2, I believe.
So we're gonna. Are you? Where are you with Brentford, Chris?
We'll go based on what you two boys go for. If you go for the same,
I would.
I'm either draw or win. Draw or win. Okay. I am.
You're on the
fence. We'll lose. What did you say, Daz?
Keith, what's question? I said win, but But I'm happy to. That would push us to 16 points. But I'm happy to go to 14.
I love the way we haven't predicted any losses. It's just like, nah, not going to happen.
Never happens.
We've already got 12 players, but yeah, we're going to win every game.
Don't worry about it.
I don't care.
Don't worry.
I don't care what you say. We're winning against Man United. I don't care.
It's about time. In the league, I should say. Obviously, we beat them in the cup. It's about time we beat them.
That brings us to 17 points. 17
I would,
plus
I
47.
would take a draw against Man U, because I think if we draw again, as long as we don't lose to Man U, I think we'll finish above them.
Yeah, let's take us to 64 points in total then.
Wow.
I hope they get absolutely hammered tomorrow.
If you change that,
and I don't say this lightly because I'm not a massive either. I hope they put 5 past them. I do. Because let's not forget, if Daz, I don't know if you've still got the league table up there. You look at our goal difference now, we're plus 13. Brighton were the closest to us, I believe, with plus 5, but they conceded 3 today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were plus 5, but they conceded 3, so they're now to 2. The other teams around us, I think, are on minuses, if I'm right.
We're miles ahead of everyone, I think.
Yeah, Chelsea on 3, West Ham are on -4, Man United are on -1. Yeah, so as you said, Chris, that's worth a point.
Yeah, it is. It is worth a point. It is.
Goal difference is massive. Massive.
And let's be honest, boys, if you look at these fixtures, without tempting fate, and so I'm touching wood now, we're not going to get pumped by any of these teams. We're not getting pumped by any of these teams. We're just not. If we lose, we lose, but we'll lose by 1, possibly 2. We're not gonna be on the back of like a 3 or 4 loss to any of those teams. I'll call that now.
Just throw up a few. So we said 17 in total. So FMO GB said 15. Justin said 17. Same as us. Alan Thompson said 7. Where are you going, 7? Give your head a wobble, Alan.
I hope you don't, Alan.
Said 16. Jordy Tubulice is 15.
Put them fixtures back up. Sorry, Daz. Put them fixtures back up. Sorry.
Yeah, should we get Alan to explain where he gets the 7 from?
I want to know where Sheffield from. 6. Where are these 7 points are coming from?
So he's blatantly meaning Sheffield United. There's his 3.
Yeah,
and
maybe Burnley are the other 3.
Yeah.
So he thinks we'll lose to Spurs, lose to Palace, lose to Brentford, possibly lose to Man United.
Yeah, point at Brighton.
Point at Brighton, maybe. We're trying to guess what Alan's thinking here. Alan could go, no, I think we'll beat Spurs. Yeah, we've got to get more than 7. I mean, if we don't get more than 7, we don't deserve Europe. We've got to get more than 7.
Like Gent says 14. Yeah,
that's fair.
The only one in not gone to double digits is Alan.
Okay. Well, JC's put an interesting point on these. But only 2 teams have worse away form than us, which is, looking over the course of the season, it's a fair point that he's making. But we've just gone to a team that very rarely loses at home or has a good home form in Fulham. We've gone and beat them today. We're a patched up team, so we can go to these teams. If we can go to Fulham and win, Palace are worse than them this season. There's no reason why we can't go to them and win. That means there's no reason why we can't go to Burnley and win.
No.
And this goes back to a point, boys, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but the way we set up today reminded me a lot like, and we didn't get the same result. Well, we won, but it wasn't the same overall type of performance. But we set up very similar to how we set up when we played Wolves at St. James's Park. It was a very much, and I don't know if you realised or seen the way we set up, it was very much a counter-attacking style. So we kind of sat not massively deep, but deeper than normal, and we went and hit them on the break, particularly in the second half. And that's different to how we've normally set up with teams this season, where we look at maximum possession. Like at one point, Fulham in the first half had that 76% possession. They were dominating the ball. But what they did is they kind of pummeled themselves into the ground because they gave everything to try and get that goal. We sat in, we rode the storm, and then bang, we hit second half. And I was frustrated in the first half, and you boys know because I said it to you boys in the chat. But when you're looking at the second half and how it unraveled, I was almost saying to myself, Eddie Howe's played this well. Because normally we go gung ho to begin with and then become tired as the game went on. But we were the opposite. We actually sat in, and you touched on it, Chris. You touched on, and we talk about it at half time. There were players that were just kind of jogging around half paced, not really giving a lot of energy. But what if those players were designed to do that in order to reserve their energies for the second half that we could go at Fulham? When they started to tire, we kicked into gear. Now, it's not excusing the real poor performance in the first half. I think Eddie Howe would have wanted it to be better, much better. But where we reserve an energy to hit them on the break and hit them late, which is what we did. And it was obvious that once we got that goal, Fulham just didn't have enough in the tank to get the points. They couldn't get back into the game. So I saw that as maybe a little bit of a well-played Eddie Howe in terms of how we set up.
Did you notice, Pete? I think it was the Dubravka injury. I think it was the Dubravka injury, and we were all,
team talk.
Yeah, and it was blatantly like Dubravka went down, and then there was a big huddle going on. But you saw, and again, the commentator pointed this out. You saw that Eddie Howe didn't look happy with certain individuals, and I just wonder if it kind of what you're touching on there, Pete. And it's made me now think. Now you've said that, it's made me now think: was that the whole tactic to save Elliot Anderson to come on and be that big ball of energy that we know he is? You know, Joe Willock, was the plan always for Joe Willock to just kind of like ease into the game and not go full throttle, not, burn himself out? Obviously, if he's carrying something or he's not quite 100%, just do what you've got to do kind of thing, and then bring Elliot Anderson on and just tear the midfield apart, which is exactly what Elliot Anderson did. Was that all part of the tactic? And Joe Willock just kind of, labouring round as such. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but that's certainly what it looked like at times. It was as if he'd been told, any 50-50s, don't get involved. Any opportunities to like really press or go full throttle, don't bother. Just kind of cover the ground. That's how it felt when I was watching Joe Willock. It was like he was playing 60-70%. He wasn't really fully there, but was that part of the tactic?
Yeah,
I don't think it was a part of the tactics, lads, because you can see, as you mentioned, the huddle when Dubravka was faking injury so that we could have a word. It wasn't the game plan. It just wasn't working. He wanted to mix it up a bit, and I don't think if Willock has been right the last while anyway. Regardless, and then it leads back to why did he start?
Exactly.
He's not fit. I think that typifies Newcastle United at the moment, that we are currently having to try and play players at 70-80% that are not 100% fit, and we're having to try and get as much out of them as possible. And I've said it to you boys before, like I looking back at a lot of the shows we did in December and sort of early January, I was quite hard with Eddie Howe and some of the players. But actually, for me, I reevaluated what this group of players have had to go through. And I think they've gone through a hell of a lot. And it's very clear now that a lot of players are playing when they weren't really probably ready to play. And I think we're going through a similar phase right now as well. But look, we're definitely in a position where we have to go back to Eddie Howe's shithouse mags. I saw that again today. I love it. I absolutely love it. Marco Silva is seething about that at the end of the game. His comments at the end of the game, he knew what Newcastle United were doing. Yeah. And the one thing that Newcastle United have done is where it was outfield players before, what they're now doing is doing it with the goalkeeper, because the one benefit with that is that a goalkeeper goes down, he can't go off for 30 seconds. He's still on the pitch. And you can't restart the game until your goalkeeper is set and ready to go. Perfect. This is what I want to see. And the amount of minutes that this chopped down in the games, and like you said, Chris, early on in the first half, he goes down. There was no injury. but it allowed him to regroup these players and get the game plan reset again. And you saw a bit of an improvement off the back of that in the back second half of the first half. Dubravka does it again. Again, big props to Martin Dubravka. I don't rate him. I thought he did well. Some big takes. He come out and was commanding his area.
Big punches too. Big punches
towards the end, but the big takes, it takes the pressure off the defense.
Yeah.
The saves were kind of routine. He wasn't really putting the pressure. I like what he did, going down, wasting a bit of time. Lewis Hall was doing the same. I like it. This is what I want to see. This is what when needs must, boys. We've got to go to this.
Yeah, well, and it didn't work. We tried to with our centre back going down, but West Ham just play on and go and score. So yeah, keeper go down and to get what we need at that point in time.
Definitely right. I'll go for a couple more questions. Or there's a lot of different comments, but I'll go for a couple more questions. This is one from Toon Gamer. And it says, question, if the new FFP PSR rules come off, which player realistically would you sign first and why? So if we're allowed to kind of spend a little bit more, not go crazy, but spend a little bit more than what we are projected to at the moment through PSR, who would you sign first and why?
That's actually an idea for a show I was going to talk to you guys about. So that could be interesting. But off the top of my head, I don't know. Look, if you pick because could realistically sign anyone. I've seen some of the names popping up here now, like Wirtz and Osimhen. Someone that could be on the move, KK. I know we don't need a left winger, but throw him in the mix as well. Why not? If I don't know, because there's another good question as well that kind of linked to that. Now we'll keep that for later. It would be what position we would strengthen. I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
It won't be a bad signing.
No.
Yeah. One name.
Oh God.
Ashley Young. Ashley not too young. One name that popped into my head. Don't know why.
It's not Godfrey, is it?
No, it's not Godfrey. Godfrey plays all right against us, by the way, but I'm not getting into that.
He did.
One name that popped in. Michael Pomar knows. He knows. One name that popped into my head. We have discussed him previously. Because for me, it's about the right wing. It really, really is. You know how much I like Benjamin Sesko, although we did recently discover that he was more a striker come left winger rather than right winger, which somebody corrected me on, which I took on the chin. But for me, I'm thinking, and I've seen him come back today, I'm thinking Michael Elise. He does have his injuries out, I know, but he just looks a special player. He really, really does. And I just think if we had Gordon on one side and Elise on the other side, I just think it'd be deadly. It would, to use the Daz expression, it would be deadly. And that's just off the top of my head. I do think a right winger is the one that we really need to upgrade. If we were going to splash the cash, I'd want us to do the right wing.
Nico Williams. There you go. That's a good shout as well.
Yeah, good shout.
It's a great shout.
So there's so many options. It's like I think we'd have to go away and think about it and do a proper show on it. Guys, but
Pedro Neto, I feel he was another one I did think of, but it was the breakdown in injury again the other day. I know Pedro Neto is probably on par with Elise in terms of injuries. They're not great, but I don't know. I just think Elise would be superb. Anyway, Pete, go on. Who are you thinking? I've seen you had someone on the tip of your tongue then.
No, I wasn't necessarily thinking an attacking player. But no, if you're going to ask me an attacking player, someone like a Lucas Paqueta would be amazing. However, I would love nothing more than to take Mohamed Kudus off West Ham. Right winger, quality player. I would love that. Absolutely, just for the fume that it would cause having that as well. But David H has put Nico Williams as a 50 million release clause. I wasn't aware of that. Interesting.
Another interesting one here. Maldini wants to come in after they are.
You take that all day. The only issue is that then you've got 3 left wingers. We know Gordon can play right wing, so you bring in Leao in as your first choice. Gordon then becomes your first choice right wing. Would you take that? You would, wouldn't you? You would. But
yeah, it's like kid in a sweet shop kind of thing.
It is, isn't it? It is.
Situations.
It is.
But it has to.
I'll tell you what, though, boys. Oh, sorry, go on, Dad. Go on.
No, just like it's an article. There's some truth in it, but it has to all play out yet. And is there going to be certain conditions to all that as well? Chiesa as well, yeah. Jared Bowen, I see. Dave Bullman says as well. Yeah, there's so many options.
He's got like a 10-year contract though, Daz.
Yeah. Look at Morgan Gibbs White as well. Is another one. Braithwaite from Everton. But as well as that, as well as us being allowed to spend whatever we like, all the teams are going to be the same. No, they're not going to have as deep pockets.
What team?
No, I don't think so. Michael.
He's closer to League One than Premier League, man. Come on, Michael. What's going on, man? What's going on?
I think we need to see him in one more season. There's one more season of Sunderland till I die left in Luca 9.
That's an interesting one because I read the other day that Real Madrid were looking to offload Rodrigo. Because obviously Mbappe's coming in, isn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have to make their money back somewhere. But if I'm taking anyone from that team, I'm taking a Camavinga or a Tchouaméni.
Oh, yeah. They're so overloaded in centre mid, mate. They're so overloaded. They need to get rid of them.
That's where I'm taking a player. I'm not taking Rodrigo. He's a good player, no doubt about it. Attacking, all the rest of it, but Camavinga or Tchouaméni in our midfield would be sensational.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Questions. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. To do a show.
Yeah. I think we do.
We could put some positions in, couldn't we? And each bring a player to the table. Have a proper think about it. Bring a player to the table, and we can tell everyone in the chat and the viewers. We can tell everyone, right, we're going to be discussing these positions. You bring your players, and we will decide whether we stick with my pick, Daz's pick, Pete's pick, or a viewer pick, and then we'll put our perfect 11 out. What do you reckon?
That's a good idea. We should really talk about this off screen so no one else robs our idea.
Yeah.
Keith Roll says Supercomputer predicts Newcastle will finish 7th place in the Premier League with 56 points.
What are we on now?
So that's 3 more wins. 3 more wins. That works out to
reboot your computer, Keith, because we're getting 64.
I think
more than 3 more wins.
I think we can get definitely 4 wins between now and the end of the season. That puts you pretty much touching distance with 60 points. I think 60 points gets you European football. Like it just, for me, it does. And I think we can get 4 more wins. I think we can win Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, Burnley. I think we can beat Brighton. And then it's a case of some of the others, Brentford, Man United, Tottenham. Do you get a point there from them? I think there's 60 points in this season. I do. I think there's an opportunity for that. Michael Palmer says 7 points out of 9 is a great return. Still wish Paul Dummett didn't exist though. Jesus.
I think we have to let it go up, Michael. He didn't do the same this week, so we'll let it go. say goodbye to him at the end of the season.
Jake thinks we're finishing 5th. That's Champions League.
Take that, Jake. Jesus.
That's Champions League football.
Then imagine the possibilities.
Yeah. I would say no to this question.
No.
Is he good again? What are your thoughts?
No. I thought, do you know what? I thought it was very I thought it was good management of Eddie Howe to bring Paul Dummett on at the end. I'm gonna admit I was a bit nervous. But it was kind of a way of bringing him back in the fold and saying to him, listen, Paul, just don't fuck up, mate. Let's all just enjoy this at the end of the match.
Play up front.
Do your job. Yeah, do your job. And well, I thought it was good management from Eddie Howe because he brought him on and he saw the game out. So it probably gave him a little bit of a confidence boost, that as well. So I did like that. But no, I don't think he's good again. I think his good days are beyond him. But I'm pleased that he came on the pitch and I'm pleased that we saw the win out today.
Interesting. Apparently, we're second top on points at St. James's.
I bet that's it. I bet that was it. It was something ridiculous like that, and I was thinking, how the hell are we? Honestly, we were either top or in the top 3 in terms of something to do with our form at St. James's, and I was thinking, how on earth? Look where we are in the table. But yeah, it could have been that what Ian's put up.
Where just to go back to that finish of 5th, we are 10 points behind Spurs. They've played a game less, so yeah, there'd have to be some fall from grace.
Yeah, it was.
More chance to catch Villa, who have played 32 and on 60, so they're. But neither situation is going to happen.
No, They'd have to nosedive. They completely nosedive. I just don't think it'd happen, unfortunately.
Definitely. Question. I'll come to you individually for this one. Daz, do you think Av Harrison might get a look in now that we're out?
Yeah, he might. He's been playing. He's playing in the second string. So when to see him playing there, he's not going to be on the bench for us, because the game was the day before. So, but yeah, you would imagine why not give someone like that a shot at the bench when we know we're letting the other guys go, Diallo and the likes. So he might get a look in on the bench, but I can't see him getting played. They need a few more injuries before that happens.
Okay. There is one other one here. Chris, is the Man United game the key remaining fixture?
I wouldn't say it's the key one. It's obviously one that draws the attention, but I do, to sound like Eddie Howe, I think our next game's the key one. We've just got to get this one going because we could lose all our games but beat Man United, and in the end that won't be enough. So for me, I genuinely think we've just got to take it a game at a time. That sounds really Eddie Howe conference, that doesn't it? But it does. It genuinely, I do think. I mean, I'm hoping we put ourselves in a position by the time we play Man United, we're ahead of them. That for me would be the key. If Man United get a bouncing off Liverpool tomorrow, and then we go and beat Spurs next weekend, we could feasibly take over Man United. Who knows? So for me, I'm just taking it a game at a time. But I do see your point, Jersey Mag, in that it will be a big game because I think ourselves and Man United will be pretty close by the time we face each other.
For me, it's all building towards that game, and that will be our cup final. The way things are going. He's gone again.
He's gone again.
Just like that. Just like that. How is he going to show us this time, I wonder?
He's back. He gets back in quick, though. You've got to give him fair play there.
I don't know how I did it, but I did it again. Right. One question for all of us. Do you feel confident about next season or not?
1,000,000%, I feel confident about next season. I can't wait for next season. I can't wait for the summer as well. And the way things are shaping up, I'm looking forward to now the run in, because it means we will see where we end up. And linking into the last question, building towards that Man United game. But yeah, I definitely feel confident about next season. I want to see then as well what plays out in June and what rules we're all playing with. going into next season, because that has a massive effect on the summer and how we could do. But like even if we didn't bring in anyone, we've got a full, who you'd hope. Well, we're not going to have a full squad with Botman and Lascelles out, but Tonali back as well. Yeah, I feel confident. I think it'll be a good season, and bring it on.
You the same, Chris?
Yeah, exactly the same, mate. For me, I'm very confident for next season, and there's 3 reasons why. The first one is Joe Linton, the second one's Tonali, and the third one is transfers. Because I think we're going to bring in 4 or 5 good signings, and I think 2 or 3 of them are going to be really top draw. So yeah, I am feeling confident about next season, and we can't have another season of injuries like we have this season, and that in the main is the reason why I'm confident, because I think we'll park this season, get everyone fit, good pre-season, bring in a couple of new lads, and I think we'll start the season off really well next season.
Yeah, we're 10 points off Spurs on 57, who are in 5th spot, which arguably is going to be a Champions League spot this season, next season, and maybe the seasons to come. With everything that's happened to us this season, we're only 10 points off, which is what, 3 or 4 wins away. You know, you look back to Luton home and away, you look back to Forest at home, you look back to Everton at Goodison Park and at St James's Park. That's enough there to bridge the gap just on its own. In games you'd expect to win. With a full-strength squad, we do that. For me, I've said it time and time again, next season, with a fully fit squad to choose from, we will be back within the conversation of Champions League football. There's no doubt about it.
I agree with that, Peter. I think, in the mix for Champions League, and also maybe in the mix for winning something next season. It could be that time.
Yeah.
I agree. I haven't seen the Bruno comments. Daz, you might have seen it. Anyone see the post-match interview with Bruno? It was not the most resounding "I'm staying" statement. I don't know the words that he said or what was said.
I was listening to it, and then you started talking to me, Pete. So I stopped that and listened to you instead.
It's your fault, Pete.
I take the blame. But I've not heard it. But
no,
arguably, you look at his celebration. You look at what he did when he celebrates, and what he always does when he puts on the shirt for Newcastle United. For me, nobody can question his commitment, his love for this club. He lives and breathes this club. His celebration epitomized that. Regardless of what happens this summer, that can never, ever be in question. And look, when you're a player as good as he is and having the suitors that he's going to have in the summer, I don't think it's as easy as turning around and saying, I'm not going to entertain that at all. Because, look, he needs to know first we're playing European football of some form. If we're not, is he going to be sitting on there at 27 years old another season without playing European football? I just don't think he is. And I think this is why it's so important.
And who knows as well, Pete? Who knows? Well, there's 2 things for me. If a huge club comes in from him, if a Real Madrid come in from him, if a Bayern Munich come in from him, someone like that, PSG, whoever, it leaves him with a difficult choice to make. But let's not forget, Bruno could be thinking as well, will the club say to him, listen, like, thanks for everything, but in order for us to progress, in order for us to move on, we want to accept this deal. You just don't know. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't want him to leave. And I'm sure Eddie Howe probably doesn't want him to leave. But you don't know about what discussions are happening behind the scenes. Have the club identified someone who they think could come in and do a good job as Bruno? You just don't know. You just don't know. I'm not saying it's that easy, because we've saw Eddie Howe say in the press conference, you don't find Brunos, here, there, and everywhere. They're very rare, but you just don't know, do you? You just don't know.
And that's why I think June is going to be key. We find out what is the rules, what we're all playing with going forward. Is going to be massive.
Do you know if he? Sorry, Zaz.
That's it.
I was just going to say, do you know if he went to a real big European giant, I genuinely wouldn't have any problem with it. Genuinely, because like I've got that much admiration for him. I think he's that much of a good player, and I want him to have a good career. And every time he puts that shirt on, he gives 110%. So if he wants to kind of better himself, and if he wants to go, you know, play in Spain, play in Germany, play in Italy, France, wherever it may be, he'd leave with my best wishes, if that makes sense. If he joined another Premier League club, I don't think I'd feel the same. I'll be honest, unless it was City. I could live with City. But if it was a Liverpool or someone like that, I probably couldn't. But if he wanted to go abroad and we got good money for him, and he wanted to go, I'd begrudgingly take it.
He cannot stay in the Premier League. Just like ASM, like, but on a completely different scale, much higher scale than that. Yeah. When your best players or the players that you love the most are leaving the club, like Bruno cannot stay in the Premier League. Even at Man City, I don't want him there. Real Madrid, PSG.
Would you get a Man City though, Pete? Would you get it? Because if you're a football player and Pep Guardiola wants you, and you can go and play in that Man City team, like I don't know, I'd kind of, I wouldn't like it, but I'd be like, it's Pep. You know, Pep's a one-off, isn't he? He's a complete one-off. If it was Liverpool, I wouldn't. But Man City, I don't know.
I get it, but I don't want Bruno in a Man City shirt on my screens on Sky every fucking day. No. I don't want it. I don't want to see him week in, week out on Sky Sports, Super Sunday, Saturday Night Footballs, wherever it is, him playing for Man City. At least then, if he's at a Real Madrid, Barcelona, a PSG, you can see him if you want to see him. If you want to go and watch that type of football, European football, you can go and watch it directly. Otherwise, if you want to just go, I don't want to see that, you don't have to watch it. It's not in your face constantly. I just think having him in England still is, I'm not comfortable with that.
It's irrelevant, lads. He is not going anywhere.
Yes.
Confident.
Yeah. or as Bobby just said, just cancel your Sky Sports subscription. Happy days all round. Right. Last couple. This is one for me for sure. Biggest weekend of the year, mate. WrestleMania night 1 tonight, night 2 tomorrow. Let's go. I'm here for the long haul. Cannot wait. 3 points in the bag. WrestleMania tonight and tomorrow. I'm there for it all. Cannot wait. So WrestleMania is in the house, and
if you wanted to watch lads rolling around faking things, you'd watch Char.
Don't start.
Not WrestleMania.
Don't start.
Or Dubravka.
Don't start.
Or Dubravka.
I'm not even going to rise to that and give you a response. 42 for life. Just don't go there. Don't do it. Like, we're in a good place right now. We're happy. 3 points in the bag. Yeah, everyone's happy. Don't ruin the moment. I actually think that's it for questions. I don't think there's anything else.
Cool. I think we've done enough questions. We've about an hour of questions there. So nice one. That is it for the show tonight. Let me just give a quick shout out to the sponsors, to the radiatorshed.com. This time last week we were after having dinner with Russ. And yes, those pictures better be on the way, Russ. So we're going to get those pictures of the new, and we even have a new logo. It's gold now at this stage, the logo. So we must get that on screen and promote that. Also, shout out to H2O Bathroom Design Co. So for all your bathroom related needs in terms of the showroom. That's one of Russ's t-shirts.
One of the t-shirts that Russ has got for us, and maybe we can throw these in for a prize draw. Who knows? We've got a lot of them. Tell me ma in Italian, and on the back, Champions League tops.
And that'll come into fashion again in the season
of
next.
Definitely.
So that's just a quick shout out to the sponsors. Just a shout out to ourselves as well. You can watch us, listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and across the socials, Twitter, X, TikTok, and Insta. And for any business inquiries, contact us on loadedmaginufcinfo@gmail.com. We will be back during the week. We need to talk about what we're putting on this week. But yes, we will have some shows coming this week. So, Chris, maybe we will go with how'd you like this time? And give us one of these.
How'd you like that?
Good night, everyone. See you later. Enjoy WrestleMania, Pete.
How you like